Good morning, everyone. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable Dr. Terence Drew. Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Marine Resources, Honorable Samuel Duggins. Minister with responsibility for social development and gender affairs, youth empowerment, aging and disabilities, Honorable Senator Iselene Phillip. Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Marcus Natta. Deputy Premier, Minister of Agriculture in the Nevis Island Administration, Eric Evelyn. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Randall Thompson, and other permanent secretaries, assistant secretaries, ambassadors, Special Advisor to the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Ashton Stanley, Director of Agriculture St. Kitts, Mr. Stuart Versailles, Director of Agriculture Nevis, Mr. Randy Elliott, Deputy Director of Marine Resources, Mr. Corey Maynard, Assistant Secretary General, CARICOM Secretariat, Dr. Wendell Samuel, Chairman and CEO of Lynch Caribbean Brokers Limited, Mr. Gregory Rose, Managing Director of Lynch Caribbean Brokers Limited, Mr. Damian Bowen, Regional Business Development Manager, Lynch Caribbean Brokers Limited, Ms. Dion Walters, General Manager of National Caribbean Insurance, Mrs. Diana Williams Humphrey, members of staff of the Department of Agriculture and Marine Resources, farmers, fishers, partners, stakeholders, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Carla Berridge, and it is truly an honor to serve as your Mistress of Ceremony for today's official opening of the Regional Economic Agri-Insurance Program, REAP, right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Today is not just another event. It's a moment about innovation, protection, and possibility for our farmers, our agricultural sector, and our future. Today, we gather to introduce a program that truly matters. The Regional Economic Agri-Insurance Program, REAP, is designed to protect our farmers, strengthen our agricultural sector, and build resilience in the face of climate change. In a region where one storm or one drought can change everything, REAP offers security, stability, and support, ensuring that our farmers can continue to grow, produce, and thrive with confidence. Under the theme Growth with Inspiration, we are planting seeds for resilience and long-term growth. And I'm excited to take you through what promises to be a dynamic and impactful program. We will begin on a note of pride and unity. Please rise for the national anthem of St. Kitts and Nevis, to be rendered by Mr. Nicholas Petty.
O land of beauty, our country where peace abounds, thy children stand free on the strength of will and love. With God in all our struggles, Saint Kitts and Nevis be a nation bound together with a common destiny. At stalwarts we stand for justice and liberty, with wisdom and truth. We will serve and honor thee. Nor sword nor spear can conquer, for God will sure defend. His blessing shall forever to posterity extend. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Petty. Please remain standing as we invite Mr. Jason Percival to lead us in prayer.
blessing and honor, glory and power be unto the Ancient of Days. Father God, your word declare that blessed is a nation whose God is the Lord. And so, God, we recognize you this morning as our God. We thank you, God, for this unique grace, this special grace that you have placed among us this morning to be on the land of the living, to lift you up and to exalt you and to magnify your holy name. Lord, we lift up this proceeding before you. We pray, God, that everything that would be said and done this morning will be done to your honor and to your glory. Lord, have your divine will among us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please be seated. And thank you to Mr. Percival for that powerful invocation. As we begin, we turn our attention to the regional perspective. Please direct your attention to the screen for a pre-recorded message from the CARICOM Secretariat delivered by Dr. Wendell Samuel.
Distinguished guests, I am pleased to address you at this signing ceremony in St. Kitts-Nevis for the Regional Economic Agricultural Insurance Program, REAP. Today marks a significant milestone as we witness the formalization of this parametric insurance initiative between the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and the Lynch Caribbean, a direct outcome of intentional, collaborative regional effort. I extend heartfelt congratulations to the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, supported by the Special Ministerial Task Force on Food Production and Food Security, for their commitment to the 25 by 2025 plus 5 initiative, and for championing the identification of suitable agricultural insurance products for the region. As we approach the 2026 hurricane season, the importance of agricultural insurance has never been clearer. Hurricane Melissa in October 2025 was one of the most severe storms ever recorded in the Atlantic, making landfall in Jamaica as a Category 5 system with winds up to 185 miles per hour. The storm devastated agricultural heartlands across Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, the Bahamas, and the Dominican Republic, with Jamaica alone suffering more than $180 million in agricultural losses and damage, affecting more than 40,000 hectares of farmland and over 1.25 million livestock. Regionally, Hurricane Melissa caused widespread destruction, displacing farmers, crippling rural livelihoods, disrupting food supply chains, and triggering emergency interventions across multiple Caribbean states. So what are the lessons learned from the Hurricane Melissa? Hurricane Melissa served as a defining wake-up call for the region. Among the most critical lessons were agriculture is extremely vulnerable to high-intensity climate events. Jamaica was devastated, reversing years of production gains and threatening food security immediately and in the medium term. Extreme weather events are becoming more frequent and more severe. Scientific analysis shows that warming oceans amplified Melissa's intensity and destructive power. This resulted in higher wind speeds, more rainfall, and greater agricultural devastation. The cost of inaction is far greater than the cost of preparedness. With Melissa causing damage equal to 30 to 40% of Jamaica's GDP, the storm demonstrated how a single event can undo years of development and expose the vulnerability of small island developing states. Risk transfer tools, including parametric insurance, are essential to resilience. Countries affected by Melissa required a rapid emergency support, including extraordinary funds to help restore productive capacity. This underscored the need for predictable, quick dispersing financial mechanisms such as REAP. These lessons reinforce why today's launch is not merely timely, it is necessary. The 25 by 2025 initiative places strong emphasis on food sovereignty, resilience, and climate-smart agricultural transformation. Agricultural insurance is pivotal to this effort, enabling farmers to invest in protected agriculture, irrigation, water management, precision farming, and other resilience-building measures. It also provides a financial safety net that allows farmers to recover more quickly after disasters and maintain stable levels of food production and market supply. The regional implementation of REAP is expected to stimulate private sector engagement and cross-border agricultural investment. By de-risking agriculture, we unlock innovation, confidence, and growth. This aligns directly with broader regional objectives, including improved logistics, climate-smart production, and strengthened food and nutrition security. Agricultural insurance stands as one of the foundational pillars of CARICOM's strategy to confront climate change, while propelling the region toward the targets of the 25 by 2025 +5 initiative. Hurricane Melissa has taught us that resilience requires proactive action, financial preparedness, and regional solidarity. We encourage other member states to join this program. Only through collective commitment and shared vision can REAP fully deliver the transformation of agriculture that our food systems urgently require. I wish this program every success.
Thank you to Dr. Samuel for that important message. Now, let us hear from one of the key driving forces behind this initiative. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Gregory Rose, Chairman and CEO of Lynch Caribbean Brokers Limited.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Protocols having been established, we are very excited and honored to be here today for this historic event, the national launch of the Regional Economical Agri-Insurance Program, REAP. Today is about practical resilience, putting in place a modern, transparent, and scalable insurance tool that helps financially protect those critical to food sovereignty, the crop farmers, livestock farmers, and fisher folk when climate hazards strike. Agriculture in St. Kitts and Nevis is strategic. It contributes profoundly to food security, rural livelihoods, climate resilience, and foreign exchange savings. At the same time, the sector's realities are clear. Climate change is raising the severity of wind and rainfall events, increasing volatility and deepening the risks faced by our farmers and fishers. These pressures affect not only producers, but consumers, public finances, and your wider economy. This is precisely why REAP matters. REAP is a multi-peril parametric insurance solution. It blends the latest risk financing tools with data-driven technology, responds to hazard events with clear rules, defined thresholds, strong transparency, and faster, more predictable financial support when you, the farmers, and the government and St. Kitts need it most. REAP is public-private partnership in motion, uniting government, regional institutions, and global expertise to strengthen national and regional food security. It is built to help propel and protect CARICOM's Vision 25 by 2025 +5 from its major threat, climate change. It is also designed to drive risk transfer over time from the public sector to the private sector so that shocks do not automatically translate into emergency fiscal pressures. As Lynch Caribbean brokers, we are honored to serve the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Securing your future, REAP is just one of our many innovative risk and insurance solutions that we can provide to you. Traditional insurance must evolve to address the complex risks we face in the world today, whether this be climate risks, cyber threats, stressed markets, or supply chains pressured from geopolitical threats. We have the tools to safeguard your families and ensure your business competitiveness in an evolving world. We bring more than 166 years of Caribbean risk and insurance heritage. We are investing in the future of this beautiful nation. We're launching our first office in the coming days. We're building a local team supported by our regional risk expertise. We've forged a number of great relationships here and are committed to adding value to this wonderful community. In conclusion, as we launch REAP with you today, our message is simple. We are strengthening the foundations of food security with a tool built for the climate realities of our time. To our colleagues in government, thank you for the leadership that brings policy to life. To NCI and our partners, thank you for your commitment to working with us to deliver this modern, accountable, and scalable solution. And to the farmers, livestock producers, and fisherfolk of St. Kitts and Nevis, thank you for the work you do every day. Often under conditions you cannot control. We stand with you so that one storm, one drought, or one extreme rainfall event does not undo a seasons of your effort or your family's livelihood. On behalf of Lynch Caribbean Brokers and our consortium of partners, we are proud to support the St. Kitts and Nevis on this milestone. We look forward to working alongside the ministry and all stakeholders as enrollment expands and the program deepens over time. Thank you and congratulations on the launch of REAP.
Thank you to Mr. Rose for those insightful remarks. It is now time to lift our energy just a little bit, and we're about to have the NCI prize giveaway. There are 2 giveaways, and you may not have known that you're being tested, but the NCI giveaway is to attendees for being early for this event. Yes. We first call on Mr. Vernon Bell, who was the earliest. And I will call on Mrs. Armstrong, who is collecting on behalf of her husband. Thank you to our early birds. And while we could not all be winners, congratulations to our winners. Now, continuing with our program, please welcome Ms. Diana Williams Humphrey, and she is the General Manager of National Caribbean Insurance.
Thank you so much, Carla. Good morning, everyone. Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Terence Drew, Minister of Agriculture et al., Honorable Samuel Duggins, members of the Federal Cabinet and members of the Nevis Island Administration, representatives of Lynch Caribbean, representatives of National Caribbean Insurance. We have present with us this morning one of our board directors, Mr. McClevin Truss. Mr. Truss, let us see who you be. We also have present with us from our non-life department, Mr. Tisha Byron, our Assistant General Manager, and Ms. Zira Locker, Manager in that department. Other distinguished government officials, partners, colleagues, and invited guests. It is indeed an honor to be here today for the launch of the Regional Economical Agri-Insurance Program in St. Kitts and Nevis. Today's event is not simply about introducing a new insurance product. It is much more than that. It is about fortifying partnerships and expanding opportunities for a key segment of our population. This occasion represents a significant step forward in strengthening financial protection for our farmers and fisherfolk and deepening the partnership between the insurance sector and the government. The Regional Economical Agri-Insurance Program, REAP, reflects what is possible when the private sector, represented by Lynch Caribbean Brokers and National Caribbean Insurance Limited, and government work together with a shared vision. Today, we recognize the government of St. Kitts and Nevis not only as a valued partner, but also as a key client in advancing this important initiative. Their confidence in and endorsement of this program reflects a shared commitment to ensuring that systems are in place to protect the well-being of citizens and support national resilience. We know by our very existence, our agricultural sector is extremely vulnerable to the extremities of Mother Nature. So agri-insurance matters. It is not just a policy. Certainly for us at NCI, it's not just a policy, but it is a safety net as it enables our farmers and fisherfolk to recover and rebuild. NCI's partnership with the government of St. Kitts and Nevis demonstrates our commitment to improving financial protection, expanding inclusion, and ensuring that more citizens have access to the security that insurance provides. Insurance is an essential pillar of a modern and stable economy and plays a vital role in national development. It protects families, supports small businesses, and helps communities recover more quickly when unexpected challenges arise. By partnering with the government, we are creating solutions that extend protection more widely and strengthen the social and economic fabric of our nation. Our farmers, our fisher folk, they feed our nation. Together, we can ensure that our principal beneficiaries are farmers and our fisher folk. And I have to keep repeating it because that is what it is all about today. Our farmers and our fisher folk. Together, we ensure that they can stand again after every storm and after every setback. Through this collaboration, we are creating pathways for more individuals and businesses to safeguard their futures and build greater resilience. Through this partnership, and I keep emphasizing partnership, because it's a partnership between government, NCI, Lynch Caribbean, and the farmers and the fisher folk. Through this partnership, we're able to facilitate coverage and security that support the government's broader mission of improving the quality of life for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. We want to recognize and commend the forward-thinking approach of the government in supporting initiatives like REAP that broaden access to financial services. This partnership sends a strong signal that together we are committed to empowering citizens and strengthening economic stability across St. Kitts and Nevis. REAP represents innovation, inclusiveness, and progress. It is about meeting people where they are, understanding their needs, and providing solutions that make protection more accessible and more relevant to their everyday life. This initiative is designed to drive meaningful change, and we at National Caribbean Insurance are happy to be the conduit to facilitate. Together, we are building stronger communities, greater financial security, and a more resilient future for St. Kitts and Nevis. Thank you very much for inviting National Caribbean Insurance to be a part of this journey. And we look forward to the success of this program and the continued strengthening of our partnership with the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. Thank you.
Thank you to Mrs. Williams-Humphrey. And now the moment we have been building toward. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the official launch of the REAP product, a groundbreaking step in strengthening agricultural resilience in the Federation. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Damien Bowen, Managing Director of Lynch Caribbean Brokers, as we make this moment official.
Protocol being established, join me in the spirit of this historic occasion in giving me back a hearty good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome to the launch of the Regional Economical Agri-Insurance Program. In today's launch, there are 4 focal points we'll be covering: the drivers, the journey, the arrival, and the road ahead. A bit about the drivers. It's as Diane wonderfully mentioned, and I will let you to, on the heels of the conclusion of International Women's Day, join me in just giving a round of applause to a wonderful female leader in Diane. Our drivers, our regional drivers across the Caribbean, is a quartet of Lynch Caribbean Brokers, market leader across the Caribbean and within Barbados with over 165 years experience, pillared by over 85 amazing staff in the Caribbean. And to all our staff within earshot of my voice online, we want to say to you good morning. We are part owned by the largest insurance broker in the world in Marshall McLennan. And we leverage that ecosystem, of which includes the largest reinsurance broker in the world, Guy Carpenter, to develop REAP years ago when there was no product across the Caribbean. Within Guy Carpenter, they would have led to similar deployments in Mexico, Puerto Rico, Domrep, and Argentina, to name a few. So this allowed us to accelerate our learning curve. Together with Raincoat, an insurtech firm, we were able to bring technology and innovation, which minimizes the administrative burden on government and allows for the smooth and seamless and transparent administration of the program. And none of this would be possible without the work and support endorsement of the CARICOM Secretariat, of which, as I stand before you today, 8 nations have signed letters of intent for REAP. And St. Kitts has a couple other nations on its heel. We have a couple more functions to attend shortly. Our consortium's track record ranges from flood protection solutions that were delivered as north as New York to as south as Argentina, as I mentioned, including areas as Mexico. Lynch, for instance, developed a fire insurance for sugarcane farmers as far back as the 1950s. Marine insurance for fisherfolk in St. Vincent, solutions we've developed, and of course, St. Lucia. And from a local standpoint, we're extremely proud to partner with NCI. One of the reasons, and you hear the passion coming from Diane's delivery, NCI, even before the evolution of REAP, were providing risk solutions for farmers, whether for their homes, their boats, their vehicles. You always had farmers within your portfolio. And when we engaged with NCI in the formative stages, we felt the passion in the room. We felt a team who were ready to partner with us in driving this solution. And none of this would be possible without the wonderful support of the Ministry of Agriculture. And I'd like to acknowledge all of the technocrats, executives, and officials. P.S. Thompson, thank you so much. Minister Duggins, thank you so much for driving a lot of the hearty discussions we've had. New branch alert, new branch alert. If you're passing Amory Bakery on Frigate Bay, just after you buy that coffee and that croissant, give us a shout just upstairs. We're setting up April 1, spanking new office. I spent almost $500,000 of his money, and he loves me for it. Right, bud? The journey. Our consortium began as early as 2020. In fact, Raincoat developed the first parametric solution in Puerto Rico after, I believe that was Hurricane Maria. And we all took different roles, Raincoat, Guy Carpenter, Lynch, working with different Caribbean governments. But in 2023, it all came together at one wonderful, magnificent, large ECCB roundabout intersection kind of thing at CWA Bahamas, where together under the MTF's then chair, Zulfikar Mustafa of Guyana, we received the mandate from CARICOM, let us develop this solution. And to develop the solution, we established 5 or 6 objectives which worked in alignment with Vision 25+5. One of the main ones was to really look at how we could address climate change, to drive risk transfer, because the reality is that in the absence of an agri-insurance solution, many Caribbean governments are insurers in denial. The reality is when an event happens, when the farmers or fisherfolk need relief, who do they go to? There you go. So at the end of the day, how do we create a solution which allows government to be able to drive some of this risk transfer? How do we protect and propel smallholder farmers? In the OECS farming composition is made up of a large preponderance of smallholder farmers, many of whom may not be able to afford agriculture insurance individually. How do we create this aggregation and public trust and confidence that drives them to want to be a part of this destiny and to partner with the government in lowering the bill and the burden? To collaborate with public sector officials, we could not do any of this. We don't have a product on a shelf. We've spent over a year getting to where we are today because of the wonderful insight of Nevisians and Kittitians who help us guide and shape the optimal structure for the needs of the country. So this is a celebration of collaboration. We want to also leverage the power of our regional collective to bring best pricing. What we took to every country is underwritten on its own individual basis. What happens in another country will not affect St. Kitts' rate. At the same time, we were able to soften reinsurance appetite by taking a well-balanced risk basket of countries which may have cat exposure and some countries who are more southerly who do not have the same exposure. This allowed us to negotiate better for some of the more vulnerable nations. And leveraging technology is a key part of what we do. 2 years ago, July 2024, REAP was born in Guyana together with President Ali and CARICOM Secretariat. We launched REAP, and a year later, St. Lucia in July created history, launching their phase 1 for their plantain and banana farmers. And guess what? Just a year later, here we are in St. Kitts. Give your government a round of applause. None of this would be possible without the rich stakeholder engagements that we had. We had stakeholder engagements with farmers, fishers. We were at the Department of Agriculture large conference room, a beautiful large auditorium. We were in Nevis at the conference room in Nevis. And if you look at these dates, you would see that our work began as next month, April will be exactly 1 year of hard work. And I could not do it without my general, the group president, James Spears, by my side. And let me tell you something about him. Let me harness my inner paparazzi to expose you a little bit today with your permission, Prime Minister. Let me tell you that when we talk to fisher folk, we don't just talk the talk. No. This man does walk the walk. He is a commercial fisherman. I am a proud beneficiary, and so is my stomach, of so many snappers and tuna. Although I must be honest, I have not seen anything in the last 2 months and 24 days. But I'm not counting by any means. Right, James? The arrival. The product will focus. One of the things we need to do is to have a solution that pays. There is no benefit in us having a solution and coming to the government after 5 years and say, guess what? There's no claim. For us, that represents a failure. So we looked at developing a product that has a higher frequency payout potential, that provides clear and defensible basis for demonstrating the program value. And I would like to acknowledge Minister Duggins, who was very instrumental in emphasizing and sticking to that point that we need a product that will respond. We need a product that will work. This will enable the government to build a body of confidence and allow farmers then to feel like, you know what, I want to invest in this program. And it covers tropical winds from tropical storm up. So from tropical storm and Cat 1 to Cat 5, these will be covered. And it also covers drought. Winds and drought, the maximum coverage is 6.5 million. So in a maximum payout situation, the government will get 6.5 million EC to distribute. And that would be at a budgeted premium. The government challenged us. We have a budget. We want to maximize that budget for the sake of our beneficiaries, and we want a product that will be responsive. These were our objectives, and we are happy to deliver to you today on this promise. From a trigger standpoint, what happened is that we agreed on a 50-kilometer zone from the winds outside of both St. Kitts and Nevis. It's kind of elongated a circle, but a 50-kilometer was drawn. And I give you a case in point. The government had a choice between a 25-kilometer, which would have been slightly cheaper, or a 50. And the government said, we want the 50, we want the wider the spectrum as possible to involve and make sure that we have a product that is responsive and that works. So that just goes to show you the commitment the government made to spending a little less to achieving spending a little more to achieving even greater. When we talk about the cyclone, there are different 20% payout for tropical storm and Cat 1, 50% for Cat 2 and up, and 100% for Cat 4 and up. From a drought standpoint, we were able to use 25 years of data to identify what is a moderate drought, a severe drought, and an extreme, and identify different payout percentages on those bases. You see here, the wider radius, as I said, is elongated, indicating the radius including St. Kitts and Nevis. So let it be clear to all and sundry, this model factors the entire federation. The entire federation. What we also did is conducted some back tests to look at if this product was in place before, what payouts would it have generated? And our team was able to go as far back as 1852. I don't know if anybody remembers back then. Okay, clearly not. But our team was able to go as far back as 1852 and to show what levels and percentages of payouts would have been generated based on the history of patterns that would have passed St. Kitts and Nevis. From a drought standpoint, we conducted our back test as well, and we were able to demonstrate what payouts would have been, and you see between 2014 and 2020, St. Kitts had a 6-year period of some significant droughts, where if coverage was in place, there would have been, we've been having a good run since then, but you never know, you might be due a drought soon, based on the statistics. Might want to start catching water. The beneficiaries of St. Kitts and Nevis, as mentioned earlier by both the CEO and reiterated by the General Manager of NCI, include crop farmers, livestock farmers, and fisher folk. One, two. Perfect. And And again, the government it was instrumental in this regard. This is an operational scheme that we developed that shows basically how the payments of the premium would be made. Many Caribbean governments have identified that in their year 1 to year 2, they will receive the mass of liquidity and conduct their governance process to determine the distribution strategy. We will support that process with dashboards that ensure transparency, confidence, and visibility of the process. The road ahead, ladies and gentlemen. As we move forward, we will continue to monitor. The key for us is to monitor the claims, constantly monitor the satellite databases, because that's what it's about. Once a trigger is met, you receive a payout within a 2-week to 3-week radius. So what our teams will do is constantly monitor the satellite databases. If the indexes indicate that a trigger has been met or surpassed, we would immediately initiate. And Raincoat and our data scientists, our engine in Puerto Rico, they monitor key databases. We use the National Hurricane Center of the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, to track our winds. So that is what we use for the wind speeds. And remember, keep in mind, it's a 50-kilometer radius outside of St. Kitts, because we know that you don't need nowadays for a system to pass over the country to cause damage. From a drought perspective, we'll be relying on CHIRP's Climate Hazard Group infrared precipitation and station data out of the University of California, Santa Barbara. That's a well-regarded international data set that we use to measure drought, and is measured by precipitation less evapotranspiration, because you can have an absence of rain, but if the ground is moist, it may not constitute drought. So we dig a little deeper to develop what would be the drought solution. And here is an example in the road ahead of our dashboards and visibility, which can show where triggers occurred, where payouts occurred. So there's a lot of technology that we'll be leveraging. And on the road ahead, stay tuned. You may be hearing about a policy certificate distribution session or ceremony to come to a theater near you, because with REAP, we have the capability to develop a policy certificate for every single farmer that they can literally take to the bank. You must give us a clap for that, ladies and gentlemen. Risk transfer is key to what we do. And our commitment to CARICOM and to regional governments is invest in the program today for us to look at how we can wean off tomorrow. So governments are investing today within the first 1 year to 2 years, maybe 3 years. Our goal is to make sure that we can have a product that responds, that heightens confidence. I want to acknowledge the support of FAO and ECA, in whom REAP continues to work with and partner on capacity building sessions and seminars and workshops to educate farmers as to the importance of incorporating risk into your business model. We will continue this hard work so that by year 3 to year 5, there can be a partial subsidization. Farmers would have confidence. In the US, for example, governments today subsidize 40 to 60% of the farmer's premium. We would like to get the Caribbean within that ultimate threshold. It may continue to be a partnership, but we need to show the farmers that this is in their best interest. And in the road to come, in wrapping up, ladies and gentlemen, farmers will be able to log on, select what type of peril they want or combination of perils they want to cover, and they will be able to see, if I buy X, I get Z. If I buy Y, I get this. So by the time we get to year 3, we have the innovations ready in the block hole for the farmers to be a part of this process and to control their own destiny at prices that you'll be very surprised. The key for us in shaping that tomorrow recognizes is contingent upon what we do today. And is against that backdrop that I'd like to commend the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, of the Federation, for their ferocity and their conviction and commitment in putting their pedal to the metal, in ensuring that they give us the fuel and the gusto to go forward to get this started. And on behalf of Lynch Caribbean, we will be continually by your side, holding the steering wheel with you, although that might sound a little dangerous, holding the steering wheel with you, steering the road ahead. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Now flow.
Thank you to Mr. Bourne for that comprehensive overview. Let us give another round of applause for this initiative. We continue now with leadership and vision. Please welcome Honorable Samuel Duggins, Minister of Agriculture, St. Kitts and Nevis.
Standing on the existing protocols, allow me to greet my esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests with a pleasant good morning. I think this room deserves a better response than just that. Good morning. Good morning. Now we are talking like we're in a room launching a product that is revolutionary. Because, ladies and gentlemen, today is not just about another launch, as you've heard. Today is more of a correction. Today is more like a turning point. Today is where we confront a truth that farmers and fishers have been living with for far too long. You see, for decades, we have asked our food heroes, you go and take the risk. You go and plant. You go and invest. You go and produce. But when disaster came, too many of them were left to recover on their own. But I say, ladies and gentlemen, that ends today. Colleagues, the REAP program is built on a simple principle that if you feed this nation will protect you. And not some of you, not just the biggest among you, not just the most connected among you, but we will protect all of you. We are saying that for all our crop farmers, all of our livestock farmers, and all of our fisher folk, this government is one that understands that food security is not just a slogan, but that food security is a means of national survival. We also understand that the men and women that produce that food are not just mere workers. We understand that you are our heroes. This program ensures that when peril strikes, whether it be drought or storm, that there's a system already in place, structured and ready to respond. Not just sympathy, protection. This is a multi-peril parametric system designed specifically for our realities here in St. Kitts and Nevis and our realities across the Caribbean. And we give credit to the team at REAP, Lynch and others for designing this specifically for our needs. And let us be honest, colleagues. In agriculture, timing is everything. If recovery takes months, then you lose a season. If recovery takes too long, then you lose a farm, you lose livelihood. And that is why REAP is designed differently. It is designed to cut out long delays. It is designed to cut out the endless paperwork. It is designed to cut out uncertainty. This system uses real-time data, satellite monitoring, and predefined triggers. And when those thresholds are met, payouts are automatically triggered. Not in months, colleagues, but in mere weeks. In fact, beneficiaries can be alerted and receive support in as little as 2 to 3 weeks after triggering events. That is the difference between replanting or walking away from your farming efforts. The difference between rebuilding or giving up. REAP, colleagues, is not just insurance. It is recovery on time. But allow me to be very clear. This government is not asking farmers and fishers to carry this burden alone. We are putting real resources behind real people. In this case, $1 million annually to ensure that our farmers are protected. We are covering premiums, we are structuring access, and we are ensuring inclusion, because protection must not be a privilege. Protection must be the right of all food heroes. And that is why our investment in agriculture must be tailored specifically to you. And this is what investment in food security looks like. Not talk, but action. This is a government standing with and standing behind its people. And we are saying to you that you will no longer face disasters alone, because we are here standing by your side. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to talk about something that has held our sector back for far too long, and that is access to finance. Too many farmers have been seen by our financial institutions as high risk. Too many have been locked out of capital, not because they lack the skill, colleagues, not because they lack the discipline, but because they lacked protection. REAP changes that. Because when risk is structured, confidence increases. When confidence increases, lending increases. And when lending increases, production expands, and we have a better access to food security. So REAP, in this context, makes farmers more secure, makes our fishers more stable, and make food production more predictable. Ultimately, making our livestock, crop farmers, and our fisher folk more bankable. And that is something that we should celebrate, because now you have a chance to get access to financing at financial institutions. Colleagues, this is how we move agriculture from just about mere survival to a thriving enterprise where we can see our farmers taking their space among the economic elites in St. Kitts and Nevis. And today, I want this message to be clear, that this is a government that not just celebrates its farmers in rhetoric, but a government that is standing behind the farming community as well. That this is a government that just doesn't talk about food security, but a government that invests in food security. That this is a government that does not leave its food heroes exposed, but a government that protects our food heroes. So to every farmer, to every fisher, we see you, we value you, and we are here backing you. Because when you are protected, this nation of ours is protected. And that is what today represents. Not just insurance, colleagues, but security, stability, and a stronger future for St. Kitts and Nevis. But before I go, allow me to recognize some of those who made this moment possible. I firstly wish to extend appreciation to the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, and my colleagues in the Federal Cabinet of St. Kitts and Nevis for supporting this vision and understanding the urgency, and for standing firmly behind the transformation of our agriculture sector through innovation and through protection. Thank you. I also wish to commend the REAP team and partners for designing a program that is not imported, one that is not just a generic fit, but a carefully tailored program to our realities of St. Kitts-Nevis and the realities of the region as well. Thank you for that. I wish to give credit to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Randall Thompson, and the dedicated staff across the ministry and departments of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Marine Resources. Your work behind the scenes has been critical in bringing structure, coordination, and execution to this wonderful initiative. And for that, I say thank you. Importantly, I wish to say to our farmers and fisherfolk, this program carries your fingerprint. It is about your experiences, your challenges, your insights, because that is what helped to shape a solution that is practical, that is relevant, and one that is real. And for that, I say thank you all for your engagement in that as well. And to NCI and all other stakeholders and partners, local, regional, and internationally, thank you for your collaboration. Thank you for your expertise. And thank you for your commitment to building a more resilient agricultural future for St. Kitts-Nevis. Together, we are not just here launching a program, colleagues. We are changing the reality of agriculture in this country forever. Thank you. Good morning.
To the farmers and the fishers, we see you, we hear you, we are backing you. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for that inspiring message. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we arrive at a highlight of today's ceremony. It is my distinct honor to invite the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, to deliver the keynote address.
I want to make a note before I started. I noticed you got some big fish. Look on the screen. I'll get you some jelly before you go. That is my backyard garden. And that's a real machete. So, give me the opportunity to recognize a number of key persons here. Let me recognize, of course, the Minister with responsibility for agriculture, Minister Samuel Muja. Doggins, put your hands together for him. Allow me to recognize the Honorable Senator, Minister Iselin Phillip, who is here this morning with us as well. The Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Marcus Natter. The PS for Agriculture from Nevis, who is also here. Let me recognize as well the FS from the Ministry of Finance. Without him, we wouldn't be here. FS Parkson. I also want to recognize the members from the Diplomatic Corps, His Excellency Ambassador from the Republic of China, Taiwan, here with us this morning, from Cuba, His Excellency Ambassador as well. I also want to recognize any other dignitaries among us. But from the head table, it gives me pleasure to recognize those who would have spoken before me. But before, I have a couple other mentions to do, but I will do it after as I make my presentation. But allow me to recognize those who are the representatives here this morning from Lynch, all of whom were presented this morning in the official protocol. Put your hands together for them. I also want to recognize from National Caribbean Insurance, the General Manager, Assistant General Manager, and all of the staff who are here with us this morning. Specifically from the Ministry of Agriculture, P.S. Thompson, who I normally call very, very early. And he's here. He has delivered. I want to thank him and the rest of the staff from Agriculture who would have gone through a lot of the detailing to make sure that we are here this morning. Put your hands together for P.S. Thompson and his staff. Would not have been possible without them. But allow me to especially recognize all those who are the farmers in the respective sectors of that great industry. So I want to recognize all of the farmers who are here, the farming community. Put your hands together for them as well. And to all of you who are here, thank you for being here. Today, for me, is very significant. I gave the FS a mandate. I told him, in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, that we must have this facility for our farming community. I told him that the 15th of March is the outer date. I think they noted that the 15th of March was a weekend day, and I think they chose a day after Cabinet, which is today on Tuesday. But I want to thank them very much for their responsiveness. In developing this facility, and as we look at it, when the minister brought it, a number of questions were asked. And one of the things I asked, what would be the best position for our farming community? And note that we have three major sectors: the fishers, those who are in the crop, and those who are in the animal husbandry, and you call it livestock, I think. And we wanted to make sure that we did not leave out any of them. Also, we looked at it and we said, what would give the best scenario for them to receive compensation if they were to be affected? So we didn't want a watered down thing. We wanted something solid, even though it would cost us more. And that it would be of no cost to those who are the registered practitioners in this great art to receive the coverage. And so, from my perspective, I think we are bearing the premium and the payments for the community so that they can have the confidence and the protection. What triggered such a, I would say, eagerness to make sure that this is done? We went through a drought situation, I think, about 2 years ago. I remember that clearly. And I called the minister and I said, I wanted to have a meeting with you and others from agriculture, including the FS at that particular time. And I recognized that there was a drought in the region, following, of course, the reports. And I asked then, how is the community faring? How are they handling the drought? Especially the crop farmers, and I know that the livestock farmers might have been affected as well. And it was recognized that they were being affected severely. Crops were being lost, or they could not plant as they would, which means livelihoods were affected. And broadly, the economy was being affected because, again, agriculture contributes to our overall GDP. And so we invested. I think we invested a few $1 million. And so there was a specific program called the Drought Response Program, or something to that effect. But the program was, how were we going to reach our crop farmers so that they can get going, or at least be able to weather the storm? But I realized even within that, there were some gaps. Because for the time that the farmers were not able to grow and reap, or the animals were being affected, the question becomes, apart from helping them to restore their farms, how were they eating? How were they paying their bills? I'm sure they have mortgages like everybody else. I'm sure they have children to send to school. They have a food bill. electricity to pay, water bill to pay. Just because there's a drought does not mean that the bills stop coming in. And so the deeper question was asked. So while we are helping them to restore their farm or their activity, whatever it was, how are they faring with life otherwise? And so that question needed to be addressed. And so it means, therefore, that the government would have to take on the responsibility, especially because what was mentioned today, that our farmers are really, in the grand scheme of things, very small farmers, in the grand scheme of things. However, their activities are critically important. And so a facility like this is to give guarantee to our registered farmers and fisher folk and so forth that there are risks, but we are going to de-risk by offering this facility to you and to the community so that you can have some easement of mind, that you can continue to practice your craft. And in the event a phenomenon were to happen, that you will be protected and you can get back to your activities as quickly as possible. Because we have to be real. Imagine you invest all this money in your farm. And you have invested over 5 years. And when you add up all of the investment, you're talking maybe tens of thousands of dollars, possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars. And one event that lasts less than 24 hours can wipe out tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and in some cases, millions of dollars in investment. And then you have no guarantee that you would receive some sort of compensation. Just think about what that farmer or that person had to go through. The psychological trauma, the loss of hope, the anguish, the challenges, the difficulties, their mental health, their financial health, their family health, all sorts of other things are affected because of a weather phenomenon that may have lasted less than 24 hours, that could have wiped out years of investment. And so that is why we decided, and that is why we insisted that we wanted the best possible scenario at this particular time, so that those who are in this noble profession can have some easement of mind. And so here we are today. Now, this is also important for another reason. We spoke about the individual, which is most important. We spoke about the community. We spoke about the broader economy. But all of this is about helping us to establish a sustainable island state. And no island state can be sustainable unless you have food security. So food security is a pillar of building out the sustainable island state. And so this is helping us to ensure that agriculture is not an afterthought, because this is a significant investment by the government. So it cannot be an afterthought. People sat down for hours to reach this type of facility that is being presented today. So it could not have been an afterthought. Agriculture should not be seen as a by-the-way activity, but it has to be brought once and for all into the mainstream of the economy, and those who practice must also be treated as such, with the respect and given the environment so that they can get better at what they do. When we produce food, do you know what that means? Less money to bring food into the country. And usually the food that we grow here is much healthier than what we import. It's a fact. And I'm speaking from a medical doctor's point of view on that one. So I don't think you'll challenge me there. So you cut down on your food bill, which means you can have more money in the economy, and the money can circulate more. And the FS will tell you the more they circulate, the better it is. I know economists, but I know a formula called MV equal PT, right? And M is the movement of money. And the more it moves, the better for you. Good? I also know that the more goods and services you can offer increases the GDP, because the GDP has to do with the total output. Correct? I'm no economist, but if economists judge me, I think I'm going good, right? But these are what the fancy terms they use. But in practicality, what we are saying, the more we produce and the better the quality, and the more we can keep our food bill down, is the better it is for our GDP, the better it is for the overall economy, and the better it is for our farmers and the practitioners of this noble art. Can you imagine if farmers feel so comfortable that they say, look, I'm going to invest because if anything happens, I know that I will be compensated. And they start to produce more food, more meat, less imports. Just by producing more wheat, you're going to need more people to work. You're going to have more services from others who are connected indirectly and directly to the industry, which means you will produce more jobs. That itself is a positivity in terms of growing the economy. So that is why this investment is fundamental. And I know this is the first time that this is being done. And I want the farmers to recognize this for what it is. It is what it is because we believe that you should be also a pillar of building this country from multiple perspectives, including helping us to establish a sustainable island state. We will invest more in farming. We want more meat, we want more food, we want more fish. We have been investing significantly, and I think more investments need to be made. But as I wrap it up today, I want to say that CARICOM has come through. We just had the 50th regular meeting here in St. Kitts-Nevis. And for those who doubt whether CARICOM is valuable or not, of course, you recognize again, this is an initiative that has been led by CARICOM. St. Kitts alone could not have done this. This is the value of our CARICOM. And lastly to say, I want to thank NCI, National Caribbean Insurance. I want to thank Lynch as well for delivering, and I'm looking forward to the office being opened and you delivering your services here. I want to thank all of you who are here this morning, and to the farmers, those of you who are going to be the direct beneficiaries. I want you to know that this government is with you, stands with you. And agriculture is not an afterthought. Agriculture is at the front of the line with others. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister, for that powerful and forward-thinking address. We now invite you to take a visual journey through the importance and impact of agriculture in our nation. Please direct your attention to the screen. round of applause for the agriculture sector in St. Kitts-Nevis. At this time, we are going to open the floor. We move into our media panel question and answer segment, where members of the media, fishers, farmers, inquiring minds will engage directly with our presenters and stakeholders. Is there anyone with a question or questions? Please come to the mic. Yes.
Hello, my name is Ryan Kadu. I'm a local crop farmer from Nevis. My question is in relation to what can we the farmers gain from being a part of having to pay for insurance. One of the things that I'm looking at right now is security for financial institutions. Would this be a plus or a guarantee? So for me, who wants to borrow money from an institution, would this be a plus for me to be a part of this program? If I'm paying for this insurance monthly, would this insurance now equate to me to go to the bank and be able to borrow money in the future? That's one. One of my colleagues asked me if the insurance will cover monkeys. So, and if it's a part of your coverage, but it would be nice to be clear if it covers monkeys as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll start with the second question first on the monkey front. We recognize that this is a real peril that farmers feel, the monkeys and the wild hogs. The limitation of the parametric solution is that it covers risks that can be measured remotely. And that becomes the challenge. How do you measure that risk? Unfortunately, currently does not have a solution which addresses the real peril the farmers face from a monkey standpoint. What I would say to you is that across the Caribbean, we have seen an increase in the appetite of credit markets, the credit unions, and lending institutions based on REAP. In fact, as I speak to you today, there are 2 to 3 institutions that we are in negotiation with for REAP to protect their agricultural loan portfolio. As far south as Suriname, we're in discussions with a large institution in Suriname to protect their portfolio. And I'm using this reference and benchmark to suggest that I believe that St. Kitts, across the Caribbean, we are seeing it in every territory where we bring these solutions, credit markets are increasing their appetite. So the farmers we project will be able to invest more in seeds, equipment, fertilizer, through financing through this solution. That is one of the reasons that we have the policy certification, where you can have a tangible evidence that you are covered. And I'd just like to make one quick other mention, and maybe Diane may want to support me on this one. I believe that NCI, from my limited understanding, is part of a bigger group, which includes a bank. The National Bank is a subsidiary of the National Bank, who I believe have agricultural loan solutions. So again, given this relationships that we have, we anticipate that farmers will benefit. That would be my 2 cents. Hand over to anybody from the table.
Yes, just to add just one other thing, that while your question asks if you pay for insurance, just to be clear that in this particular iteration, the government has paid $1 million to cover all farmers who are registered in the country.
I just want to reiterate that the idea was to de-risk farming. So in this facility, the farmers, fishers and so forth, you don't have to pay anything. We hold the policy, you're automatically covered by this policy. All right, yes.
Good morning.
Sir?
Thank you all very, very much.
We thank the Prime Minister for his presence today. Next question.
Good morning. My name is Vernon Bell. I work at the Department of Agriculture and also a livestock farmer. Right. First of all, I want to say that I congratulate the ministry and the department for this initiative. Years we have been speaking about this thing, right? Yes, I know we say that we're going to be covering damages done by Mother Nature, hurricane, floods, those things and stuff. But for me, as a livestock farmer, I face two high risks. That's predial larceny and dog attacks. Right? Just recently, I would have lost a good amount of animals. In one weekend, I lose about 50 sheep, almost, right? Due to damages. All right. So I want to know, while you guys are starting now, if you guys going to build out your portfolio to cover livestock farmer in that regard with predial larceny and dog attacks.
One, two, good. Thank you for your question, and I like the honest, realistic portrayal of the challenges you face. We would stop at nothing to try to find a solution. What our research has shown is that there are crop theft solutions available on a micro insurance basis in the US. But because we're a broker, we would need to find retail insurers and reinsurers who would be willing to provide, because as you know, what we are providing is based on what is provided to us and for us. So I would say that the challenge with predial larceny and the challenge with dog attacks, although they are real, is the measurability of it in the eyes of the insurer and reinsurer. But as a broker, my brother, we will stop at nothing. We've researched it. In fairness to you, this topic of predial larceny has come up, and Minister, you would agree, at almost every CWA forum in the last 3 to 4 years. In fairness, it's a real problem across the Caribbean, and insurers and intermediaries like us are being challenged to find solutions for it. And we'll stop at nothing, but it's an ongoing search.
Are there any other questions? All right. Oh, one more question.
Pleasant good morning to one and all. I want to compliment the government, the Ministry of Agriculture in particular, for their initiative in bringing insurance to farming community, be it fishing, livestock, or crop farmers. My concern here is backing up with Mr. Bell for the predial larceny, because many times persons have been charged and it takes so long to reach before the court that when it do reach there, the perishables are no longer in existence. And therefore your case becomes so weak that eventually it disappears or get lost in the paper trail. I'm sorry that the Prime Minister has to left, because this would have been directed to him, being the man in charge of justice and national security. What can be done, or how can this be fast-tracked so that these perishable, these valuable evidence would not disappear? And to Ms. Humphrey, I would want to challenge you to sit with farmers and hear our cry for the monkeys. See what can be done. I don't expect Lynch to deal with it on the hand, because they're not on the ground, but you on the ground. I would like to challenge you to meet with the farmers and hear cries.
Thank you so much for your participation in that question. Oh, there's one more question.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Mackie Truss. I am wearing two hats today, one for NCI and the other as a crop farmer. One of the things I want to get a clear picture of is how the actual distribution of funds would be if there's an event. For example, I'm a crop farmer. I have 4 full-size greenhouses. And each one of these greenhouses is maybe about $150,000 just for the structure. The crop itself is another matter. At any given time, I would have, say, about 3,500 to 4,000 heads of lettuce. And that's just apart from the other things. So if there's an event, how do you determine what the payout would be for a farmer who, have, say, $500,000, $1 million worth of equipment and produce? How do you flesh that out?
Thank you so much for the question. And this is why you hit the nail on the head in terms of why many Caribbean governments are agreeing to receiving a mass of liquidity that gives them the flexibility to conduct assessments post-event and then make a determination thereafter. Because as you mentioned just now, your example, in your real life example, varying farms carry varying degrees of scale, and there are various implications. So I would say to you, our role as a brokerage is to provide the government with the mass of liquidity. And we are confident in our conversations with governments across the Caribbean that they are developing government processes and due diligence exercises to send extension officers to validate and then come up with their determination. I believe in time to come, you will get more clarity from the government, but this is a work in progress. What we identify we need to do is we need to get a program going ASAP before the onslaught of the hurricane season. So we've achieved that objective, but I hand over to the minister in case you'd like to add any additional light.
Thank you so much, Damien. To your question, if you recall earlier, Mr. Bowen spoke about risk transfer from government to the actual farmers. That's going to be a critical component because for us, the idea was getting it started with a blanket coverage. And that way we could address some of the issues. You do recognize, like you said, your farm alone may very well be $1 million. With a $6 million coverage, that may not be able to extend to all of your damages while attending to the other farmers. What we're looking at is that farmers like yourself with such a high value on your farm could then look to pay into it to specifically cover the reach of the extent of your damages and be able to benefit directly as well. So we have created the foundation because a single farmer wouldn't have been able to do this on his own. We have done the foundation and everything else will then stack and be built off of that foundation. That is the expectation moving forward. Yes.
I just like to add, is a great point the minister made, is a point that we forgot in our presentation, forgive me, and I thank you for the question. The fact that REAP has started in St. Kitts, it opens the gateway for other beneficiaries to buy in at any level. So because the minimum threshold has been met by the government, the gateway is now open, so farmers like yourself can even look and examine what the relationship between your investment in premium and the payouts you stand to get. So thank you for that point. The gateway is open.
Earl Freeman, I'm a fisher. Coming after that question, my question was the minimum threshold coverage. What is it? What does that cover for a basic fisher farmer? What does it cover? You see, like how Mr. Trust was asking a question about him being in large business, elaborate, that kind of stuff, and you guys are talking about paying into that. So he can be covered to his threshold.
Yeah.
The government is paying $1 million for basic fishers and farmers. What does that cover? Where does it end?
It ends at 6.5 million in a plus more than 6.5 million in a potential mass payout.
Divided by how much?
The division will come upon the assessment of the government. You remember, there are some disasters that affect everybody. I don't think drought would affect you, for example. So
good point.
So So there you go. So based on the peril, the assessment, then a determination we made on the distribution strategy. That's my understanding. I don't know if there's any variation.
What's the implementation date for the?
March 15th is the inception date of the policy. Okay. So the policy was incepted March 15th. So it's a 1-year cycle.
Right, and as soon as the office is open, we can go and get further information there.
If, especially with you host, you car, you insure everything. We do everything for you, buddy, but looking forward to seeing you.
We will take one more question if there's another question. No? Okay. Thank you so much for your participation, and we look forward to continued discussions in this regard. We are now drawing to a close, and I invite Mr. Lindbergh Bell to deliver the vote of thanks.
Okay, good morning. Please allow me to adopt the protocol that has been ably established. It's a profound honor to offer these expressions of gratitude as we conclude this landmark launch. Today, we have not only introduced a product, we have sown the seeds for a more resilient and more food-secure future for our country and our region. We must begin by thanking those who set the tone for this auspicious occasion. Ms. Carla Berridge, for our sincere thanks to you as our Mistress of Ceremony, for your seamless and professional guidance throughout today's proceedings. Mr. Petting, for the stirring rendition of the national anthem, which reminds us of the pride and sovereignty that underpins our regional support. Mr. Jason Percival, for invoking God's blessings on the gathering, ensuring that we start our deliberations with grace and purpose. To our distinguished speakers, we are deeply grateful to the leaders and the experts who shared their vision and technical expertise. Mr. Wendell Samuel, the Assistant Secretary General of the CARICOM Secretariat, thank you for your remarks on behalf of the Secretariat. Your presence underscores the vital importance of regional integration in solving our economic challenges. Mr. Gregory Rose, Chairman and CEO of Lynch Caribbean Brokers Limited, we thank you for your inspiring words by acknowledging the formidable challenges we face while clearly charting a path. You have given us the confidence in how we can move forward. Ms. Diane Williams Humphrey, General Manager, National Caribbean Insurance, thank you for ably and expertly instructing us on the intricacies of this initiative. It has ensured that we depart from here with a firm understanding of how this program will function. Most importantly, Mr. Bowen, the Managing Director of Lynch Caribbean Brokers, we were truly enlightened by your comprehensive presentation, and as you launch this productive initiative, the clear road ahead has now been laid. This marks the beginning of a new era for our agricultural sector. The success of the program of this initiative that we have launched here today jointly relies heavily on governmental leadership, political will and vision, and our farmers and fisher folks. To our Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Samuel Duggins, we thank you for highlighting the tangible benefits this insurance program provides to our local farmers and fishermen and the country as a whole. Your commitment to the industry and the broader goal of food security is the engine for our progress and prosperity. To our Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Terence Jew, we express our deepest thanks for your presence and your unwavering support for our agricultural community, and most importantly, our farmers and fishermen. Your leadership ensures that initiatives like this remain at the forefront of our national development agenda. And to quote, agriculture is at the front, not an afterthought. In closing, to our farmers, the main drivers and consultants of this initiative, a profound thank you for your presence and participation. The media and all other participants, we say thank you. Your engagement here today is what gives this program life. As we leave here today, let us carry forward the spirit of collaboration that has defined this launch. Thank you, and wish you all the best today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Ladies and gentlemen, what we witnessed today is much more than a launch. It's a commitment to farmers, our economy, and our future. On behalf of the organizers and partners of REAP, thank you for being part of this important milestone. We invite you to stay connected and continue the conversations. I'm Carla Berridge. Have a fantastic day.